Oh, what's going on, guys? I'm Tristan.
And I'm Adrian, and we are Utmost Hip Hop.
Today we're going to be talking about the best hip hop album of 2017.
Let's get started.
What's up, guys? For my 2017 hip hop album of the year, I picked 508, 507, 2209 by Jordan Lucas.
And I picked Brick Body Kids Still Daydream by Open Mike Eagle.
The first point I would make to you is 508, 507, 2209 has such a variety to it, whether it's his subject matter, whether it's his flow, that it's really like no other album that came out this year.
His flow was decent. I'll give you that. Decent flow.
Well, okay, his flow was, even if you do say that, it's so versatile. You could look at Winter Blues, his flow there, compared to I'm Sorry. Or you can compare that to Forever, and We Gonna Be Alright is completely different than all of them. It has something for everybody.
Yeah, I mean his flow was decent, even though like he switched it up. He went from sounding like Hobson, Eminem to Tech Nine. I mean, it was just like it switched up.
Okay, those guys are often compared to each other. I feel like you're focusing on one of his many skills in saying, "Oh, it's all the same."
He even there's even some songs where he sounded like Big Sean.
Like Big Sean?
Like Big Sean.
Big
Actually,
Sean.
Ultrasound. The very beginning of Ultrasound, that's like Big Sean right there. Before when he's got that stop and go like style, before he switches to the Tech Nine fast, that's
Okay.
like Big Sean.
But what artist compares to I'm Sorry? What artist is doing that right now?
The Suicide.
Yeah, the Suicide.
That's like an Eminem song.
What Eminem song sounds like that?
Eminem could have done that song better, easily. That's like
Have
like an Eminem
Did
song.
you listen to Revival? Have you listened to anything he's put out?
I'm not talking about Revival. I'm talking about Marshall Mathers LP.
Okay, why are we comparing? Joyner's in a good spot if we're comparing him
Okay.
to when Eminem was the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but I'm saying Eminem could have done it better, if you want to go that route.
Oh, the best of all time, one of the best of all time at least, could have done it better. Damn, Joyner, what did you do? Like, that's the logic you're using.
Yeah,
That
obviously.
isn't. But looking at purely what Joyner did was amazing. Why it's greater
Look,
than
it was a decent album. I'm not gonna say it was not a decent album. It was definitely not an amazing album.
Okay, whether it was from the song about the suicide song and I'm Sorry, where is the dual perspective of the guy actually killing himself.
And that's what Joyner does good. He tells a story and he plays the part of each person in that story well. The perspective he shows him, that's fine. That's okay. That's fine. I'm saying for his first like debut full length album, because he had like a few other projects, a few other features, a few like freestyles. For his first debut full length album, it was a good start. It was a good start. I like the way he put it together, the whole album.
Okay.
I like
The transition with the phone calls and
the idea of the transitions was good. I like that. It just wasn't executed to where it's like, greatest of all time status.
Well, I mean, we're not comparing it to greatest of all time. I'm comparing it to other 2017 albums.
Okay, greatest of 2017.
How, in terms of what we're talking about right now, in terms of the flow he has, the terms of the variety he brings with this one single album, how is it better than, or excuse me, how is it not better than what Open Mike Eagle did? Brick Body.
Brick Body is just more, it's more complex. It's got, put it this way.
Okay, I have a problem with that though. I have to say this. There's it's okay to be complex, and it's very okay to be poetic. I love that about the album. I love how after every time I listen to the album, there's something I didn't realize about the song that's there, and I love that about it. But the point of writing, whether it's a paper, a poem, a journal, or a rap song, is to get what you have to say and get that out clearly and make it be impactful. The problem is he's so used to so many metaphors and wordplay and references that that's not always the case. I shouldn't have to listen to a song 4 or 5 times before I understand, oh, okay, that's what he's saying. That's what this song is about.
I mean, okay. You know, Brick Body Complex is obviously not an album that you're going to be, listening in your car. It's not an easy listen.
Not at all.
I'll give you that.
And that's where Joyner has the songs like Winter Blues where you can bump in your car, or the songs where you can sit down and really listen to that are like super deep and super intimate. He has
I wouldn't say super deep. I mean, I would say
okay, a song.
I would say he had some clever moments on the album that I would say was clever. At the same time, he had some not so clever, I don't know, retarded moments on the album. I don't.
Okay, that brings up a good point. I feel like the worst songs on Joyner Lucas' album, which I would say probably is around Literally. That's a pretty
the worst song. The worst songs of Jordan. That whole whatever that phone number was, the
508-507-2209.
1-800 Mix-a-Lot. The whole middle of the album was basically just a filler.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make with this is all of the what you would call filler songs, even though the middle of the album is definitely not just all filler songs. Forever is in the middle of the album.
What track is Forever? 8?
Forever, it's somewhere in the middle. I can pull it up if that'll help you.
Forever is track. Lullaby is 8.
That's a pretty good song.
Which is decent. Forever is 12. That's pretty much.
That's 12.
Where it goes downhill.
That's in the.
I mean 16.
It's 16 song album.
16 song album.
So you would think 6 to 12 kind of area. That's the middle of it. Winter Blues is also in the middle of it. One of the best songs in the album.
I would say after Forever. I would say after I would say from track 10 on, I did not like.
Including Forever?
Forever is what track? Forever is
including We Gonna Be Alright?
Yeah, I mean that was alright. The song was
literally
alright. Yeah, literally sucked.
Okay, no, let me get back to the point I was gonna make though. Literally, and other songs like that, like just because they're decent songs, they're 3 to 5 out of 10 songs. But we look at Open Mike Eagles list, like we have songs like Breezeway Rituals, where I can't even listen to. I can't get through the entire song with that distorted beat in the background. Him trying to do the MF Doom off the beat kind of low, but he just doesn't. He can't. Or is I'm Sorry is one of the best songs I've heard in the last few years. How powerful that song is and how it could reach so many people is like no other song I've heard as of recent.
It was a well put together song. He tells a good story. The way he does the 2 point of views of him and then his best friend at the end.
Or I think it was like his cousin or something. He doesn't really specify it, but it was family
member. Does not like that's fine. That was well put together, but the song as a whole could have been better. The beat was off. Was not even the greatest beat ever. It was a pretty simple beat. The whole album, the beat, the instrumentals on the album.
Are we really
basic.
talking about beats when comparing these two albums? Did you hear Breezeway Rituals? Did you hear that beat?
Yeah, it was a complex beat.
It was
like that's an album where you could just listen to the instrumental of that album, and that alone is an album. Just the instrumentals.
Yeah, let me ask
He
you.
he could sell the instrumental version of that album and people would buy it. If
No
Joyner
way.
Lucas sold the instrumental
Neither.
of that, like, why would you listen to
I
that?
feel like
And that
people-
sounds like something you know, like a beat you did on your computer, like Fruity Loops or something. It's just
Fruity Loops?
Fruity Loops or whatever simple like beat program. I can download an app on my phone and make half those beats in a day.
I will say I don't believe Joyner's strengths in that album was his beats. But I think you're putting
Obviously
way too much focus on the beats.
No, we're
When-
talking about album.
Right, no, I understand.
Album. So you gotta have the beats, you gotta have the way the album flowed together, which
But they're not all valued the same. The beats, maybe 10% of the album. I
Okay,
would feel like
fine.
the lyrics are more important. The subject matter is more important.
his
the flow
lyrics
is more important.
lyrics was not always on point.
He didn't
He had-
go for very clever lyrics. He made a more album where everyone could enjoy it.
Not very clever. He went with Hobson lyrics.
He was not that corny.
I can see through you like an ultrasound.
Okay, that one was pretty bad. That one was like Eminem on Revival. Because I'm in denial. Like that was
Yeah,
that was terrible.
The whole ultrasound was like Hobson doing an impression of Eminem.
But
Until the beginning, little Big Sean in there, a little bit of
the flow in that song was perfect.
Yeah, after you got through the first part of it, the first few seconds where he had that stop and go style rap where he's like once you got past that and then he
That's
got
a great
in
impression, by the way. I
and,
like that.
and then he got
It's like there's some things on there like we're gonna be all right. That's different than a lot of other
Yeah, I
guys
mean,
are doing. That's not Eminem. That's not Tech Nine. That's
he
not
had
whatever.
his good moments on the album. It was not a horrible album.
It was the best album. Yeah. I think we need to focus less on Joiners and move a little bit more to Open Mike Eagles.
Yeah,
Because we've been talking so much about Joyner Lucas's album, which is understandable because there's a lot to cover. Obviously, it's so different.
It's a long album. It's an overly long album. Glad you agree with that.
I feel like there'd be a few cut. I would cut
I would cut
the song
like
he's talking
5 tracks.
to his crotch about cutting him off. Like that's disturbing.
What was that? It's not my fault. Or
Literally.
something? Literally, is that what it was?
Yeah, it's the
where
literally
it's
one.
Like, yeah, basically he's
I would maybe
saying,
cut 2 or 3 songs.
it's
off.
not my fault. Yeah, that was
Betty's,
that was
yeah.
a throwaway album. That was a filler
That was a throwaway song.
track.
Yeah.
Throwaway track.
I mean, it in itself, it wasn't a terrible song. Though. I wouldn't say it was a terrible.
it's not a terrible song, but it's one of those that you just
It's
kind of gloss over.
Yeah,
as you're
exactly.
going- As you're listening
It's
to the
too
album.
weird for me. It's not for everybody. It's too weird for me.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Open Mike Eagle. You should probably answer. Why do you view it yourself as the best album of 2017? Best rap album of
Okay.
2017.
Best rap album 2017. I would start with the instrumentals. The
Okay.
instrumentals on it
Hit and
was it was you had a mix of jazz, you had just
miss. He's a jazz artist. Let's be real. Of course.
he's not a jazz artist, he's a hip hop artist.
Okay, a jazz
inspired
style.
by
Yes,
jazz.
okay, that's what I meant.
Not all his albums are as obviously inspired by jazz as Brick Body, but I would say okay. So going back to what made it the best album, instrumentals.
Hit and miss. TLDR was also terrible. Terrible beat.
I mean, some of those beats are not for everybody. I'll
Okay.
give you that. I would say the whole album. His other albums were more lighter, more funnier, more
I would
comical.
say that the beats on both of these albums weren't great. They were just decent. But with these types of albums,
okay.
they don't need to be great. Super
I would say
lyrical.
no. I would say
super inspiration.
with Joyner, it wasn't about the instrumentals.
Not at all. Neither.
But with Open Mic, he came hard with the instrumentals. It was about the instrumentals. The
Okay, I don't know if I
instrumentals
can
was
see that, but
the instrumentals was just as much a part of the album as the lyrics and the storyline and everything else. That's what made it that album because of,
Well, we won't
of the
say-
style of the instrumentals. It was a big part of the album. So the instrumentals was a big part. How personal the album was to him. Him growing up, that whole thing was what made it a good album.
I didn't never
the
say
fact-
it wasn't a good album. It's a top 5 album for me. The more I listened to it, the more I liked it. However, there's
I would say
such-
Joyner for me. I would say probably top 10 for me.
Oh yeah, no, both of them are definitely top 10 albums of the year. I noticed you mentioned, hey puppy. I noticed you mentioned the kind of the storytelling in your album, even though the best storytelling song is on Joyner Lucas's album with "Keep It 100."
Well, it was the way his album was. It was one. I see his album as one big art piece, one big story. It wasn't where Joyner's was each track was a separate story telling something different.
And neither of those are better than the other.
Oh,
if we can agree
yeah,
on that.
yeah. Neither. I'm not saying it was. I'm not saying one album was done as far as storytelling. One style of storytelling was better. I'm just saying, Open Mike Eagle's album. It was one album, one complete story.
And there's definitely value in that, and there's definitely value in having different separate things. I don't think
It
you
was
can say
more-
one's
it was-
better than the other
it was
because
more-
of X, Y, Z.
It was more of a I don't know if you would call it a what do they call it? I don't know if you would call it like a concept album,
Okay, I can see that.
but
Yeah.
it was more like
a common motif with the whole thing.
yeah, definitely common motif. Definitely, the whole album was talking about him growing up, him in Chicago, the buildings that were torn down, and his, basically it was an introduction to his persona, his, what do they call it? Iron Hood, his Iron Hood persona, his superhero persona that he put on. It was basically an introduction to that. That was the whole album. The whole album, and it was like if you listen to one song and you're listening to another song, you'll hear things in different songs on the album that relate to each other differently. It was
definitely.
one.
I think even other artists related to Open Mike Eagle, in the song "Hymnal," when she was Samus is what is her name? This is the first time I've ever heard her. So
Yeah.
When she
That
was
was-
spitting, she referenced to when Open Mike Eagle said, "An apple a day is
what apple sellers say."
Yeah, like they referenced each other, which I thought was really great. In the, like, I could see the connection there.
I think with that, it was like when Open Mike Eagle said it, an apple a day is what apple sellers say, and he kind of just left it at that and moved on. And then the chick, what was her name?
Samus or
Samus. This is the first time I ever heard of her.
Yeah, that was the best verse I've heard in a long time. That was
It was a good verse.
amazing.
She killed it. She
Oh,
killed
yeah.
it.
That
But
was I'm gonna check her out for sure.
oh yeah, she kind of went more into detail with it when she said, I'm Steve Jobs updating my something. What did I forgot what it was, but she kind of clarified what Open Mike Eagle was saying when she got more
Right, now,
detail
yeah.
saying we're actually talking about Apple. We're not talking about the fruit apple. We're talking about Apple Macintosh or whatever. She got more into detail with that, whereas Open Mike Eagle, his style is more like,
Figure it out.
yeah, I mean he says it, and if you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know.
I have a problem with that though. Like there was too many references for me that I had to look up. I didn't fully understand. I mean, like the first song, if you didn't know the whole Marvel scheme, the song kind of went over
Okay,
your head.
yeah, the first song the first 2 times I missed the whole like reference to the Juggernaut on it. I kind of knew I'm like okay, a superhero, but I didn't really
At first,
see.
I just thought it was just a brag song about himself. He's too strong and whatever he was saying during the song.
Right. When he says my brother Charles, the the actual first time I heard that, I did not even like pay attention to that. The second time, I was like, okay, Charles Xavier. It wasn't until the third time where I'm like, wait a minute, is he talking about the Juggernaut? When he talks about being buff and running with his head down,
Right, running through walls.
running through walls, basically like the Juggernaut. Yeah, when he said that, that's when I kind of picked up on what he was saying. It's not something that much of the album is not something that you're going to understand everything the first time or even the second time through the album.
Even the fifth time. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff on there. I'm still like, what did he just say?
There might be some stuff that you might listen to and then you just like, but that's an album that you can listen to a lot, and each time you listen to it, you might pick up something new.
Yeah, that's true.
Joyner Lucas is something. That particular album might be something that I might bump in my car for the next few weeks, and then I'm just gonna move on to the next album. It's a forgettable album. It's like hot right now. But
It's a forgettable album.
In 2 years from now, I'm gonna go back and listen to Open Mike Eagle. I'm probably not gonna go back and listen to Joyner.
Do you think the song "I'm Sorry" is still relevant today? Just specifically that one song. I know I'm talking about that song a lot, but do you think that would still be relevant today? Like right now?
Obviously.
That song came out in last summer, 2016. We're in 2018.
That's fine.
That song came out
That's
a year
fine.
and a half to 2 years
But
ago.
the whole point I'm making is, in a year, another artist is going to make that song. In 2 years, another artist will make that
and
song.
he will be great for it.
Right. No one's ever going to make any of these songs that Open Mike Eagle is making. It's unique. It's unique. It's unique to him and his art form and his style. Joyner Lucas, 508, 507, 2209. Great album. It's a great album for 2017. In a few years, I'm probably not going to go back and listen to it. I might listen to one track here and there, but I'm not going to listen to the entire album. I will go back to Brick Body Kid Still Daydream and listen to the entire album in 2 years.
That might be you. That's not going to be the majority of people. The point is that album is not even for everyone in the first place. Not everyone's going to enjoy that album. Not a lot of people are going to enjoy that album.
It was not for everyone.
No,
it was.
That's why you can't say
even for an Open Mike Eagle album.
I feel like that song
abstract.
was for his fans.
It was for his. It's definitely for his.
It isn't for the average rap listener, average
if
hip
you're
hop
not
head.
if you've never heard Open Mike Eagle, I would definitely not start off with that album.
No.
I would go with what's it called? Dark
Comedy?
I would start off with Dark Comedy.
Yeah. Going back to what you were saying before, your point of, it's going to be replayed in so many years. It's going to be, 5 years later, 3 years later, whatever you want to say. It's going to be, people are still going to be listening to it while Joyner isn't. You can't say that because of the mere fact that it's not even for a lot of people. I would say over 50% of people, it's not their type of their hip hop. They're not instantly going to be drawn to it. My first
I think if someone becomes an Open Mike Eagle fan, then that's an album they will go back to for years to come.
But songs.
If you become a Joyner Lucas fan, that's probably not an album you're going to go back to for years to come. Probably not.
If you are a Joyner Lucas fan,
if you are,
I know
you're going to move on to the next Joyner Lucas album.
This album will still be great and will still be listened to.
If you never heard, let's say 2 years from now, Joyner Lucas has a new album out, right?
Okay.
And you hear that album, and it's your first time listening to him. You might want to go back to 508, 507, 2209 and hear it, and it's still going to be a great album because it's your first time hearing it. But once you hear the album, you're done with it and you're moving on.
I would completely disagree. Okay, I'll take it back. Give me an example. I still listen to 2015 Joey Badass's album, Badass.
That's another great album. I would still listen to that too.
Yeah, I still listen to that, even though I feel like it was kind of overshadowed by The Pimp a Butterfly, but it was better. It was the best album of 2015, I would definitely say. Anyways, that's something I still listen to this day. I'll still listen to the full album, especially Paper Trails, but not the point. And that's the same exact thing with Joyner Lucas's. It's just because it's not this super abstract, revolutionary. It doesn't mean it has no replay value.
I think Open Mike Eagle and that specific album represents a style of hip hop and a direction of where hip hop is going, as far as I don't want to say a separate genre, but it's almost like a
Subgenre.
Yeah, an abstract
it is.
hip hop, and that's definitely a direction of where it's going. Hip hop right now is going in many directions, and that's one direction. I think that's what that represents.
Because I know you did mention, it's such a great storytelling album and tells such a great story. It paints such a great picture.
Right.
The best one's on Joyner Lucas's album, hands down. Keep It 100 is the best storytelling song on both of these albums.
Keep It 100 is probably my favorite track of the album. Favorite song of the album.
It does this. One, I love how he changes the perspectives. And if you watch the music video, it's actually the perspective of the money. It's kind of like an outside perspective of the actual $100 bill, which I think was kind of cool. But it's the perspective of, seeing through 6, 7 different people. It has the message of what money can make you do and the corruption that money causes.
Right.
And everyone's like, I want to be rich and famous and keep it 100.
Yeah,
but
money is the root of all evil.
Exactly, yeah. I know you heard, yeah.
And then it just goes through the story of how money gets passed from hand to hand, and I think it was done cleverly.
That song's an easy 10 out of 10. Beautiful.
I'm
not going to compare it to like a storytelling song like Stan or something like that, because I'm not going to go that far, but it was definitely a song that in 5-10 years I'm going to be like, that is still a great song.
That's one thing that Joyner does well, is he tells a story.
Oh yeah.
And it was definitely a good story. It was definitely put together well, but it was just not. The beat was not the greatest. The instrumentals was
again,
not the
like
greatest.
I said,
his flow was off at times. It wasn't something about it. It was not like the style. It was just not that great. My favorite on the album, but still not that great.
Because what do you mean by the style?
His whole rap style. It
sounds to me like just because you're not a fan of that style that you can't acknowledge that it's not.
I'm definitely not a fan of that particular.
But
style.
you can still acknowledge that it is great.
It's not great. It's good.
It's very good. Anything we always say, it's very. It's a 10 out of 10 song for me.
10 out of 10 is more than very good. It's above decent. So what was your favorite song
on Open Mike Eagles?
Open Mike Eagles, Brick Body. It's Still Daydream.
I'd probably have to go with 95 Radios, honestly. Just because I love the vibe to it. I love just like that.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
This is Brick Body Complex.
Yeah. Anyways, I love the whole feel to it. How he sings it. Listen to the radio or whatever. It's just a happy song where I can just feel like strolling down the street and just enjoying.
What about How Could Anybody Feel at Home? You didn't like that song?
I did. It was good. 8 out of 10.
Probably my favorite one.
Yeah. I really like the beat on it. I will say that. Yeah, there it is, kicked in.
It's just so unique. The beat is so unique.
Yeah.
The constant tapping.
Yeah, I do enjoy that.
All the instrumentals is
that
unique,
has a really good instrumental on it. I will give it that.
Unique instrumental.
Yes. Sometimes too unique for its own good, though. We can see that on TLDR and
TLDR. Not for everybody.
Too much going on.
It's noisy.
Yeah. And
but
pause that for a second.
But
it's the same.
He makes it work, though. He makes it work.
No, he doesn't. He's already so metaphorical. He's already so I don't want to say overly lyrical, but he already uses so many references, and like I was saying before, that we don't need background noise. We don't need all this going around. We need, for him, I prefer simpler beats. Exactly.
He makes it work.
No, he does not.
He makes it work.
No
Definitely
way,
he
stop
makes it work.
playing that. I don't want to hear that. That's not a good song. Or that's
That's a
not a
great
good.
song.
Yeah, it's not a good song. It's clear. It's just not a good song.
Not my favorite one. I would say
Again,
Feel at Home,
I'll
Legendary
have a
Iron
migraine.
Hood.
I have a migraine if I listen to that song too many times. For No Selling,
No Selling.
I can't help but feel like that sounds super whiny to me, and I can't get past it.
How's it whiny?
No selling. No selling. It's
Okay,
super
so
whiny.
No Selling.
Super,
No Selling. This is for me. This is what no selling means. Okay, no selling is basically when a rustler gets
Yeah.
hurt, he has to sell that
Sell,
he got
yeah.
hurt. So no selling is the opposite of that.
Right.
So he's basically saying if he's hurt, he can't show that he's hurt.
yes,
the
no,
whole-
exactly. He
that's
can't
the
show
whole-
his competition that he's down, that he's whatever.
How's that whiny?
I didn't say the subject matter was whiny, but the chorus and other parts in the verse, especially when he was saying, and I'm no selling, and I'm no selling,
It's
was
his
just
style.
super whiny.
There's that's
Bad? That's a style?
That's it's just,
It's definitely really whiny.
no.
Just because it's your album doesn't mean you have to defend it. It's really, really whiny. Nah, nothing.
That's
No
a dope,
vibes.
That's a dope style.
Anyways, final point I need to make about this is just the final, put it all together, comparing both albums. They both have really good songs and some bad songs. I think I would say a lot of the really bad songs is on Open My Eagles album, personally. Like No Selling,
I would
like TLDR, where it's just whiny and it's intolerable.
It's not
It's
whiny.
intolerable for me.
How is that? How is it whiny? Just because the way he's saying, I'm no
That's
selling.
yeah. The
That's
definition
just-
of whining is how you say something. I can say whatever and say it whiny.
I don't see how that's whiny.
You know, it's
That's his style of that's his.
you can't take something bad and say it's just because it's his style.
I'm not saying that. It's the way he's doing it.
The best songs are on Joyner's album. The most impactful songs, 1. Best storytelling songs, 2.
Joyner album. Okay,
The best hype songs, 3.
Most impactful as far as the reach of audience.
Oh yeah, and affecting people's lives.
Yeah, because again, this album is not for everybody.
It's not for
The
most people.
Open Mike Eagle album is not for everybody.
No, not at all.
It's not for your average hip.
And that doesn't make it bad. But what does he actually talk about? What does he actually talk about that he wants to convey to his audience? What's the most significant thing he talks about? He talks about his old life and
in Chicago,
In
where
Chicago,
he grew up, the
yeah.
building that got tore down.
Right, that's
he
great.
talks about him
but
being this
it's
superhero.
not comparable. It's on a new level.
Yeah, it's on a new level.
Joyner is on a new level.
No, Joyner's not on a new level.
With FYM, Mystic was amazing on that song.
Mystical, yeah.
Mystical, excuse me.
Mystical. I like that. I like Mystical's verse just because it just brought me back to when Mystical was making
And it was different.
radio hits when he was relevant.
It was different though. Like that style wasn't there anymore, but it was done super modernly. Like Tribe Called Quest. I can't say it. Tribe Called Quest aged really well. Where you can look like The Chronic, and listening to it now, it didn't age well.
The Chronic.
Chronic did not age
I
well.
can listen to The Chronic today, bump that in my car, roll down my windows.
What song? Nothing But a G Thing aged well. What else?
The whole album. What do you mean?
It didn't age well. Right now, it's the skill level. You compare that to
Okay,
something like the Marshall Mathers LP or something. It's not even
okay,
close.
but the Chronic wasn't about rap skills. Just like Jordan Lucas was not about metaphors. He had his technical rap skills is what he displayed.
Yeah.
But he did not display his metaphors. He had corny metaphors and things like that.
you're banking on one line and being like, oh, that means the whole album was corny.
No,
Okay, besides,
I'm not banking.
Okay, I'll give you. I can see through you like an ultrasound, which isn't terrible. Isn't like Indie Dial. It isn't like Hobson like I'm the shit like I slither than poop. Like that's like on Hop Is Back.
Yeah.
But it's what else is there besides the
Uh,
one line that you're obviously.
She had eye contacts, and she had her eye on that or whatever.
So, but how is that corny?
That's for me. That wasn't a strong lyric. That was a Hobson lyric. She had eye con to rhyme.
I don't know why you keep
Eye
using Hobson.
contacts
I think
with eye
Hobson
on
is
that.
dope personally. I mean, I don't think he's great.
We all have our own personal problems in life. I hope you get help.
Hobson is definitely dope. He's not great. He has the best.
I like Hobson. I think corny rhymes work when they're funny. You can get away with
exactly,
corny rhymes
yeah.
when they're funny,
Yeah.
which Hobson does at times, but he doesn't always pull it off.
Yeah, that's true.
This album, there was nothing funny about it, and
Well, he wasn't corny.
there was a few corny lines in there.
But you can't say, oh, the rap album's automatically super corny because
No,
he said
the album
I can
was
see
no,
through you
no,
like an
no, no,
ultrasound. That's
no,
not
no,
even
no.
that. That's not even that corny. We're talking about
No,
mild.
that's extremely
That is
corny.
not extremely
That
corny.
is, I can see through you like an ultrasound. That's something. That's like a dad joke. That's something like something I'm just having a conversation and I just say that. Oh yeah, I can see through you like an ultrasound, and then people laugh to be polite. That's that type of joke where people like, yeah. That's the type of joke.
But I would
that
say on
is-
the other side, on Open Mike Eagle's album, he wasn't corny at all. I'm not saying that. That's not the point I'm gonna make.
No.
But he was awkward at times for me. There was one where he said,
He
"Look at my eye hole," and I felt like I was violated. I felt weird when he said, "Look at my eye hole" or something like that.
his,
where I was
his
just,
album, the awkwardness of his album is his sense of humor. That's his sense of humor getting through the album.
yeah, it said, "Don't turn away from me. Look in my eye hole."
Yeah.
Obviously, to rhyme it with whatever he wanted to continue saying, it was awkward for me. Where I felt not uncomfortable, but I felt like weird that was in there. Like that shouldn't be. It seems so forced to rhyme with the next word.
Yeah.
Look at my eye hole is just.
I'm sorry
Awkward.
you were violated by his album, but
I'm just saying there were certain parts like that where I was, that shouldn't be a thing.
I've been focusing more on the Joyner Lucas album just because first time I heard it, I did not like all of it. I liked a couple songs in there. As I listened to it more, I grew to like it. I will say yes, it's because I'm not really fond of that style of hip hop, that style of flow that he has.
But you
some
still
of the
should be able to
particular-
appreciate it, though.
Yeah, some particular styles of flow. That was off-putting. It was hard to get past that for me.
Okay.
Once I got past that, once he started to grow on me, I started to like the album more. Open Mike Eagle, I've been a long-time fan of his. I listened to a lot of his albums. This is a fan album. When I heard this, the first song, the first verse, the first few words, I loved it from the beginning. But this album grew on me a little bit. Joyner Lucas's album grew on me. I think it was opening a door for me to appreciate
A new type
more
of rap.
Yeah, more modern rap that I don't listen to a lot of, especially this year. This year I kind of missed out on a lot of stuff because I've been going back and listening to more old school stuff, kind of pushing away more modern stuff. This album definitely opened me up to what new guys are doing in the rap industry now. I'm definitely now interested to see what he's gonna do next.
Oh yeah, like he had the Gucci Gang remix come out recently. We listened to that like 20 minutes or 2 hours ago. That was really fire. Like he has different things. He's so versatile within the album, outside the album, whatever. My personal favorite.
If he does not top this album, then he's gonna be forgotten. That's like him falling off if he does not top this album. He has to top this album. good.
It was a very good album.
It was a good album to start off with.
It wasn't a legendary album where I'm like, oh wait, when the Slim Shady LP comes out.
That's my
it's
whole
like,
point. It wasn't a legendary album, meaning you're not going to listen to this album in a few years.
Just 'cause it's
Open
not
Mike
legendary.
Eagles album
Just because it's not like.
is legendary for that style, I think.
Just because it's not legendary like The Chronic is, or like these other huge, like Illmatic is, doesn't mean you're not going to listen to it 10 years from now.
I just think compared to Open Mike Eagle, compared to that album, the Joyner Lucas album was just more simple for my taste.
Yeah, definitely more simple.
It was decent, but it was simple. At times his flow was off. At times he had certain styles that reminded me of rappers that I don't like. He had, he showed like a Big Sean style. He showed he had like a.
Are you saying Big Sean's bad?
I don't like Big Sean.
Are you saying his style is bad?
I'm not a Big Sean fan. I'm gonna go on
That's not the
record
question, though.
and say, is he bad?
Is his flow, because we're talking about his flow specifically, is his flow bad? No.
His
flow's
flow
not bad.
No, his flow is not bad. This is my whole thing with Joyner Lucas. Anyone could have put out that album. That's what I'm getting down to. Anyone could have put out that album. Anyone with his rap, his technical rap skills, because he has good technical rap
He has
skills.
great technical rap skills.
Anyone
he has
with
great
his-
flow, a variety of flow that.
A variety of cadences, yeah.
Yes, cadences.
Anybody with his technical rap skill could have put out the album, and I'm
But
sure there's
anybody doesn't have that rap skills. Not a lot of people have the skills that he has.
right now.
And
There's
not everyone has the lyrical ability to have the idea.
He doesn't have lyrical. He doesn't have his lyrics aren't that great.
His
That's
lyrics
another-
are creative. Just because you don't
What's a
have
good creative lyric?
the whole song, keep it 100, having different perspectives.
But that's like storytelling. Lyrically, he's not like a lyrical
no,
genius.
he's not a lyrical genius, not at all.
I
But
would
that
say
doesn't.
I would say Open Mike Eagle is more of a lyrical genius.
Yes, he is. I would 100% agree with that.
and that's.
But
what-
I would value subject over lyrics.
no. I would
value
hip
flow
hop
over
rap
beats.
music is about the lyrics. It doesn't always have to be about the subject. You can a great lyricist can take any subject and make it great.
Yes, you could be talking about the same
But a
money, clothes,
Yeah, exactly.
pimps, whatever, pimp ride, whatever you want to talk about. And if it's lyrically great, it can still be a great song. You can get a super deep song and not have any sort of creative lyric, crazy metaphors, and it can still be a great song. That's why you can't just dismiss it if he's not, oh, he has super lyrical talent where he's spinning all these things where it's like, oh, snap, or whatever you want to say.
Oh snap.
Yeah, oh snap. That's what I say. Okay? Don't judge my life. Don't at me.
Anyways, okay, so would you say, just to end it, would you say his album opened your eyes? I would Open Mike Eagle's album opened your eyes to a subgenre of rap that you might be interested in.
Yes.
So
It was definitely really unique in what I normally listen to, what I normally hear before.
I would say the same with Joyner Lucas. That kind of
I think we could both say they're both really good albums.
they're both really good.
They're
albums.
both really good albums, but it's just opinion on where they are in the pecking order. That's all it is.
Exactly. I think we can agree with that.
All right. Well, we're logging out, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.